We're recording. We're live. We're live. We're not live. We're recording. But so what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Retro Hoop Collectibles. I said that I wanted to do more stuff with other folks, and could think of nobody better but my guest today. So what we're gonna do, talk a little bit about kind of this recent announcement that happened, kind of flew under the radar a little bit, I want to say. About Star PSA now opening up Star, but there's a little bit of a twist to it. Something kind of funky and fishy about all of that doesn't really smell right. My man JD hit me up, so I'll bring him on. What's happening, Big Papa?
What's up, man? How you doing?
It's I'm living life, and it's we're hanging in there, man. These kids are driving me nuts.
Ah, dude. How many kids you got?
I got 3, man. I got 2 boys and then my little girl, my little baby girl. She's the baby.
All right. Well, I got 4, so I one upped you. And let me tell you something. Everybody that's watching this thinking about having kids and you're like, yeah, it's going to be so much fun. Listen, move to Alaska and throw your fucking cell phone in the water. Trust me. Anyway, that's my advice for the night.
That's your advice for the I really think so. My brother lives close by, and he's maybe a couple years younger than I am, but he I think he might have the right idea. No kids, living life, doing it big. But no, man, they drive me nuts. But what are you gonna do? You can't live with them, can't live without them, right?
No, I hear you. They do. You know what drives me nuts? Like, you go grocery shopping, and for anybody watching that has kids, right? You're gonna know what I'm talking about. But we don't have any food. We don't have any food, right? So you go to the grocery store. Now it's like you got to remortgage your house to go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
So you go to the grocery store, you buy a bunch of shit that you don't even know what you got. You go home because now you're all disgruntled because you just dropped. Like in my house, it's like $400 a week, right?
Yeah, about $300 for me over here. So yeah,
you get home, you put it all away, and then like an hour later, there's like 3 packages you just bought that are gone. And you're like, what the hell just happened? Like, what? I'm like, and then like 2 days later, like, we don't have any food.
Yeah. We did a Costco run the other day that kind of ended up the same way, right? Bought a bunch of stuff and came home, did it on a Sunday. And then all of a sudden, Tuesday, I'm like looking around and my son comes and knocks on my door. He's like, Dad, I'm hungry. I'm like, well, then go get something. We got fruits. We got all kinds of stuff, man. Go get something to eat. He's like, we don't have anything. I went down there and sure enough, he went in line. They ate everything that Monday. It was gone.
Pissed me off, dude. Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
We could talk about that for. We could start a show like.
We really could. Hey, funny enough, I used to have a podcast called the Daddy Shark Podcast.
Yeah.
That was just about that. Like basically, I'd like bring other friends who are friends of mine who are dads, and we just talk shit about being dads. No, seriously, I'll send you
genius.
I'll send you some links. I did like 14 or 15 episodes, and then that kind of tapered off whenever this kind of took off. But I'm kind of in process of like reviving that because it was a shit ton of fun.
Oh, dude, that would be classic. Remember, real quick, remember that movie Daddy Daycare?
Yeah, Eddie Murphy, right?
Yeah. So when that movie came out, like, I was like a young aspiring dad with some of my buddies, and like one of my buddies had the idea of like, dudes, we should open up a daddy daycare.
Yeah.
And I remember one of my buddies looking at him like, are you a stupid bleep or what? Like, I'm like, dude, we are not doing that. I would rather like, no,
I have too much. There's too much involved with just trying to keep my kids alive, let alone somebody else.
Never mind other people's kids. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. Christ.
So,
all right,
let's talk about this. Let's talk about this recent kind of thing, and I mentioned that it kind of flew under the radar a little bit, didn't it? I mean, it was kind of like one of those things that were like, "Hey, we're doing this now, just so everybody knows."
Yeah, like my buddy messaged me. I want to say like the day of like the announcement,
and
he's like, "Hey, PSA is grading star cards now," and I'm like, "No, they're not." And he's like, "Dude, they just made an announcement," and I'm like, "No, they didn't." And he's like, so he then sends me the link, and I'm like, "Huh." I'm like, "This is interesting."
July
So I
1st.
was like, what's that?
July 1st is when they made the announcement.
Yeah. So when they made the announcement, like I didn't really think much about it. I was at work and I was like, yeah, whatever. Just like I just said to myself, I think I texted back to him, money grab.
Yeah.
Um, and I did a video on my own channel about my star cards that I have in BGS slabs.
Yeah.
And some of the thought processes I was starting to have.
Because at the
Because
time, BGS was the only one grading them, right?
yeah, so like in the early, so I think back in the day, right? I think PSA did grade them at one point, way back in the day, and then they
Mm,
stopped because they couldn't determine the fakes anymore. Like there were just so many out there that they just said, screw this, we're not doing it.
mm,
So then it basically came down to BGS hopped on board and did them, and then there was like another company, GAI, that were like, if you've done any research on the topic or whatever, there's this guy out there by the name of Steve Taft, and he's like one of the foremost experts, if not the expert, on like star cards. And I believe like train the graders at BGS and GAI, of what to look for in these cards to make sure that they're real versus the
mm.
reprints. I think anyway. Again, I could be wrong, but I like to think I'm right on this one.
Yeah, if you if
Um,
you if you Google Steve Taft, the first thing that
yep.
pops up is Steve Taft star basketball.
Yeah. So like so then from there, right? Like I started thinking, well, if I like for me, right? I'm not selling my Jordan cards, especially my star ones. I sold one in like right in February of 2021 because the profit was insane. I paid
Mm,
$500 for the card. I sold it for 2,500
yeah,
in literally like 26 days or something like that. I was like, okay.
yeah,
um, and now I regret it because I can't get it back because there's even like I had a 5.5, and it's whatever. Anyway, that's for
yeah.
another day.
Right.
So then I got to thinking and I started like seeing what was out there on some of like the groups and things like that and chatting with some buddies. And, then I started to think, how many of these graded star cards did BGS get wrong?
Mm.
Right. Um, and what happens if you drop like, I don't know, 5 G's on a Jordan card, and for whatever reason you decide I'm going to crack this card, and you crack it and send it in, and they tell you, yeah, sorry, but that's not real,
That's not real.
and you get whacked a grading fee, right?
Wow.
So, but that's an extreme example, right? I think most people are going to send it in slabbed, with a min grade on it. I would think. Um, the hard part here, right, is those that are looking to sell these cards. Um, if you look at the 84 star Jordan cards, right?
So this is I
Because
got
those
80.
are the only ones that PSA is grading right now. Only the 4 cards out of the 84, 85 set. They're not grading anything else. So just the 84, 85 star set. So they'll grade any Jordan card out of this set, any Olajuwon, any Barkley, um, whoever else, Bird, Magic, Worthy, Kareem, Dominique, but they
But
will
that
not.
that that in and of itself is kind of sketchy, isn't it? Like,
So it is, but if you pay attention to like, or about some of the different scandals that are associated with the card, whether it's the reprints that came out, in the late 80s, or some of the stuff that went on like the Home Shopping Network,
yeah.
um, there's a whole kind of different thing as you get later on into these sets, where this one there's just kind of, it's pretty limited as far as what it offers. You know what I mean? Like the
Mhm.
borders are kind of, the coloring of the cards, like the different shade borders and things like that, are pretty standard and whatnot. And it's fairly easy to tell the fakes from the real, in these cards. When you get into some of these other cards, it starts getting crazy because there's green border, there's white border, there's blue border, there's friggin' purple border. There's all kinds of shit, right?
The crunch and munch and all the other stuff, right?
Yeah. So what I started paying attention to, like in 19, if you go to the 84, not that one because I don't own that one. I'm not rich. Go to the whatever the hell one it is, 188. I think it is the first one that comes up. Yeah, that one. Click on that one. View card.
The 195.
Yeah, the number 195. So I own three of the four of these at one time. So go down now. Look at if you start at the 8. Look at the spikes.
Yeah.
Even if you just do the 6-month spike, go back to, you don't even have to do all. Do 6 months.
This is the only one.
That's it.
Yeah.
And an 8. All right, maybe go back and do 1 year then. All right, so look at that sale. Oh, wait, what are you on? The 9?
I'm on the 8.
What's the 8 say for a price?
The BGS 8. 8,000.
What?
Yeah, the BGS 8 is 8,000.
Huh.
This is the one where he's in his USA?
Yeah. You sure it says 8,000?
BGS 8.
Hang on.
8,000.
Hang on,
That's
bro.
the last price though.
Let me take a look here.
Yeah, you had one sell June 29th, just a couple days ago. $8,000.
Oh, all right. You know what? I'm sorry. Click on the 7.5. Sorry. Wrong card.
Okay, there you go.
All right. So look at the last 3 sales. When was that sale?
This was March.
All right. So go to the next one. I think it's like the end of June.
Yep.
Or middle of June. When is that? Beginning of June?
June 6th.
All right. June 6th, 2150, right? Now look at right after the announcement.
3,100.
All right. Now go down to the BGS 6.5. Look at the last couple there, right around July.
Yeah. So
right.
Yeah.
So these things are all spiking because if you look on eBay right now and you search 1984 Star PSA, there's a Jordan 6 of this card right now up for auction with probably 3 days left now. And it was at last night when I looked, it was already at $1,500 in a PSA 6. So that card is probably going for close to $3,000. Yeah, there you go. See that? Look at that. That jumped from yesterday.
And this is a freshly graded one.
Yeah. Yep. So here's the thing with these cards that people tend to not, like the average Joe isn't going to pay attention to. The average grade on a BGS Jordan for centering is like a 7.8 or something like that.
Yeah, look at the centering on this
one. Right. Of all the Jordan cards, the average grade is like a 7.8. So almost just call it about an 8, right? So if you get with PSA, you don't get any of that stuff, right? So if you're a real collector of this stuff, you know that a 9 centering subgrade is like ultra premium, right? But PSA doesn't give you that. They just give you a number and you're just buying the number, right? And you're buying it because it's this PSA. So when you look at a card like that PSA 6, that's like I said, probably going to do at least $3,000, if not a little bit more.
Because the centering is a 7.5.
That's the 101 right there. That's going to do hundreds of that. That's probably going to do 50,000.
He's asking 20.
20,000. Okay. So that's the XRC. So that's his extended rookie card. So like that card's huge. That's the one sports card investor there just dropped 100 G's on at the National for a PSA 8. So if you start like watching on this stuff, right, you put together, like if you watch the sports card investor episode where he buys this card, he takes it around to talk to some different people. He brings it over to your boy Probstein, and Probstein's telling him like, a PSA 8 sells for basically what a BGS 9 sells for. So he's telling him that card, that there probably won't be any 10s, and that, a 9 will be like the ultra premium, and then the 8's going to be like right there. So he's like, 100 grand is probably cheap for this card right now. So like the whole pump and dump scenario thing,
Yeah.
bro,
Yeah.
is alive and well. Now, granted, you got to have, for a card like that, you got to have some cash, right?
Right.
But if you go back to those Beckett cards on Card Hedge. If you look at those last sales, right, as they're starting to come in now in July since the announcement,
Mm-hmm.
just the thought of now being able to grade these in PSA is causing the BGS slabs to spike in price. So it's having like kind of like a double effect. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Which is, I thought, a little interesting for me. I'm like, again, I'm not selling mine, but like if you look at that card right there in Card Hedge, I have a 7. The 7.5 did like what, 3 grand, and then the 6.5 just did 2 grand. Well, it's pretty easy to figure out. Mine should be what, $2,500. It's right in the middle of a 6.5 and a 7.5.
Right.
So that's cool. But if it gets a PSA 7, is it 5,000?
Right. Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's like there's that conundrum there for people that have these cards, because man, you can literally double your value just by the piece of plastic that it's going to get graded.
Isn't that crazy?
Crazy, right? But then, like, check this out, right? So here's the other thing I want to bring up for everybody, because I started thinking about this. Let's say you're one of these Instagram cats that films everything they do, and like the art of the deal, baby. Like, I'm buying my raw shit, I'm grading it, I'm making millions, I got my flashy thumbnail crap going on, blah blah blah, right? Let's say you buy a raw, you're gonna buy a raw star card.
Yeah.
Right? You talk to a couple people, you send them the pictures on your phone, like, yo, bro, what do you think? What do you think, bro? And like, yo, bro, that shit looks real to me, son. Right? Check this out. Can I share my screen for a second?
Yeah. Let me see. I don't know if I got to give you.
No, I can.
You
share.
can. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Boop. All right. Can you see my screen now?
Yep.
Look at this. The following items are not eligible for the eBay authenticity guarantee.
So this is eBay's rules.
Oh, look at this. 1980s Star Company basketball cards.
So how are they? Okay. So because we were just on the one that we were just looking at, was authenticity guaranteed,
but it was graded. But then check this out. Ready? Check this out, because I found this. That's a raw card. What does it say on it?
Yeah, I was just about to go to that one.
So eBay's contradicting themselves, because these cards go to CSG to get authenticated.
For authentication. So
now, if everybody, I would hope, well, maybe everybody doesn't know this, but for those that do know, the two top guys from Beckett left Beckett to start the sports card division at CSG. So one would think they have the knowledge and expertise to authenticate these star cards. But how can eBay allow this to happen and throw up their little thing? Because I'm sure it's just a default setting.
Yeah,
where,
it's probably based on the dollar amount, right?
Yeah, the dollar amount, and it just comes up. But then in their fine print, it says, "Nah, we don't grade that. We don't authenticate.
We don't authenticate those."
Right?
I wonder.
I can stop sharing now.
Yeah, I wonder what would happen if anybody like challenged that.
That's what I'm saying. So like, right? So let's say you go and drop that card, sold for $1,500 raw. Let's say you drop $1,500 on that card, thinking you got yourself a deal. You're going to grade it at PSA and blah blah blah. Right? You're going to make thousands. Well, now all of a sudden they send it back to you. Sorry, we don't authenticate this. You're up shit's creek, because now you got to send it to PSA and hope that whoever's grading it there they said, according to PSA, they have a couple of guys that are trained in it, and they're the only ones that touch it. So now it's going to pass
Star
those.
cards.
Yep. There's only a few guys that are trained, and they're the only ones handling the star cards, right? So you can take a chance, but the whole point of buying this stuff on eBay is especially when you're spending big money,
right,
is so that it gets authenticated.
Yeah.
But now they're not doing it. But then that listing is contradictory, right? Because it's telling you that it's there. So it's like, what do you do? You know,
Yeah.
if I'm eBay, eBay's got to honor that.
Yeah, for
right?
sure. Yeah, I mean, if it's on the listing, I would imagine that the listing itself kind of what's the word I'm looking for here? Is kind of like the governing thing, right? That's what
Right.
decides whether or not your card's going to get authenticated.
You would think, but right, think about all the crap that's gone on with eBay over the years, right? They're not necessarily the strongest, eyewitness here. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so I just wonder, I just said to myself, you know what? People need to pay attention to this, because some people are going to lose a lot of money pretty quick, because there are a lot of reprints out there, right? And one thing, I'm going to share this again with you real quick.
Yep.
All right, let me just share. One place anybody can go if they want to check something out. If you come to starbasketballcards.com, you can learn everything you need to learn about Star, right? The different sets,
there you go,
the counterfeits, the shop at home thing, everything, right? And then they tell you everything to avoid, and they give you pictures. So really, there should be zero opportunity for people, if you're watching this video, to not have a reference point to go and double check these cards and say, all right, you know what I mean? But again, just because it's raw, I want to show you something. The little star sets. All right, you can come right here to the Michael Jordan cards. So like this card right here, number 288, there's tons of reprints of this card out there.
And that's the one that had the home shopping network thing, right?
Those were little different ones. That was there was some different one. I can show you those, but like one thing that you'll notice on this blue card specifically is usually this edge right here is much more like narrow than this. It would be my left edge, right? I'm looking at the left edge here. This edge is always going to be narrower. If you find a star card that's got like this ridiculous centering all the way around, it's probably going to be a fake. You know what I mean? Because the ones that are really nice have already been bought and graded and are sitting in somebody's collection somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And there's actually a couple of them that I'm looking at here. Look, I'm gonna throw this up. That is really well centered.
Yep. Now, what does that say? That's the Stadium Club, though.
Oh, this is the Stadium Club.
So that's a legit reprint. So there's the Stadium Club Finest, and then there's a Finest Refractor, which, there you go, reprint. That thing was huge money. Well, not huge, but,
this one's a couple grand.
I guess that could be huge. That's huge.
Yeah, that's
right.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, that's huge.
So it's not cheap.
Yeah, no, that's
so there's that too. I mean, that card, the regular base card of that raw is probably doing $80 to $100, but the refractor brings big money.
This is that Crunch and Munch one that I know about.
Yep.
Yeah, these things are gonna blow up, man.
That's what I'm saying. So what people need to remember right now too, though, is 84-85. That card right there is mislabeled. That's an 85 card. Crunch and Munch is 85.
So is this one fake? Because this one says 84.
Right. It may have been. It was not released until 85. It's an 85 card. So that's not part of the 84 cards. So you buy that card thinking, damn, that looks nice. I'm going to get that grade. See, it says star 85 on the top
85.
right?
Yeah.
So if you don't pay attention, dude, and I've done it where I've just bought stuff not paying attention, I'm bidding on this thing, and then I'm like, oh shit, I didn't realize. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, they're not great in the 85s and 86s yet. Now, could you make a speculative play that they're gonna open up to those? Sure. After I would assume see how it goes with the first set
with the
right.
84s. Yeah.
But what's interesting is they're only doing the 84. They're not doing the 83. So you got an 83 set with like a Dominique rookie, a Drexler rookie, an Isaiah Thomas rookie, I think is in there.
Yeah, but there's no Jordan rookie, so there's no money there, so they don't care
Right,
about it.
right. But still, if you think about, if you really like zoom out, right, and you think about basketball cards from 83 to 86 until Fleer came on the scene, the only basketball cards that were licensed that were available to people were these cards.
Right, exactly.
So if you're like me and you like those guys, these are some of their bigger cards.
Yeah. So that was gonna be my next question to you, right? Is do you consider the 84 star Jordan to be his legitimate rookie and completely denounce the fact that the 86 is the rookie? I would say yes, just because it's a licensed card. And the definition of a rookie card,
if you go by all the rules of the rookie card and all that crap, right? It was not pack pulled. It was issued in a team bag. And you either had to order it or like buy it at the stadium or some shit like that, or like dealers had them. So like you couldn't just go to like your card shop, buy a pack of star cards and hope to hit one. They were only issued in these poly bags. So it's by definition, it's not a pack pulled card. It's a bag pulled.
So that's part of the criteria too?
Yeah, it has to be pack pulled. Right. So it checks like every box but one. And it's not because it's not packed. Now, what I will say is this: which cards are rarer? The star cards.
The star for sure. But hold on, you just said something. You said that the 84 star Jordan checks more cards on the checklist of a rookie card, except for the one that it's not pack pulled.
No, it checks all the boxes, but
that one, right? But the pack pulled. 86 Fleer would not even check the main box, which is the first card of playing the game at the highest level, right? Which is the NBA.
Yep.
I would say that's way more important than the fact that it wasn't pack pulled, right?
Yep. But if you, man, when was it? There's an episode Dr. Beckett does on his podcast talking about the 86 Fleer and the 84 Star and how they came up with the 86 Fleer being the rookie card designation through Beckett. And back in the day, we all lived and died by Beckett.
Right? Yeah, of course.
So they essentially determined through their own methodology and whatnot that the Fleer was the rookie card. And again, I apologize for not having all of the transcript in front of me, but like it was very interesting to listen to him talk about it. To me, right? I still don't have an 86 Fleer, and it's pretty much a crime on my end because if I look at all the money I've spent the last few years, I could have like 3 or 4 of them, right? And I'm like, what am I doing? So like, I'm back in like sort of like a spending freeze where I'm just buying some like low dollar stuff here and there, and I'm really trying to focus now for the fall to pick one up. But if you're looking at this, right, like, you look at the Fleer population stuff. It's just there's thousands of 8s, there's 312 10s, so that card's never bringing premium dollars, right? It did hit 750. But it's not going to be $1 million card. It can't be. There's too many of them, right? So some of these star cards, if there's 1 or 2 or 3 PSA 9s of that number 101, buddy, you don't think that card's going to fetch huge money?
Yeah. That's like up there with the 9.5 Mickey Mantle situation going on right now. Yeah,
right. And don't think for a second that after that Mantle sells that 9.5 I think it's going to go for close to $20 million. That's my guess.
So?
I
Holy
do.
shit, man. I was thinking somewhere like 13, 14.
That card's money. People
It's
with
beautiful
cash.
in that SGC case, though, isn't it?
But here's what's going to happen. I think there's a pop 20 on the mantle PSA 10. I think there's 20 of them. One of those dudes is going to now say, all right, the SGC 95 went for whatever it goes for, between 10 and 20, right? All right, I got my price. I want 30.
30. Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to happen.
It's
It's
silly,
going to
though.
happen. It is. But rich people, bro, you know as well as I do, people that have money upon money upon money to burn, or one of these funds, you don't think that the opportunity for one of these fractional companies to fraction that piece out, dude, they'll make their money back in the second they list it.
You know, all you got to do is take a quick glance at the way people really deal with art, like art, like high end art.
Yeah.
Take a look at how that has been dealt with over the last 15 years, and you'll see that it's exactly what's going on with the card market right now.
It's 100%.
The one guy that'll pay $15 million for a painting of a particular artist just to drive the price up because he's got 9 more of them sitting in the house.
Yeah. Yep.
Right, and he paid $100,000 for those.
Yep.
You know, so it's like
that's anybody that does not think for 1 second that some of this stuff that happened last February was done by, and I'm not trying to poo-poo these fractional companies because they weren't to blame for all of it, but they certainly had the cash to buy these cards at the ultra premiums they were buying them at. Right. So then that way they could value them high to sell them back as shares to all us dummies. Right.
Yeah.
So it's inevitable. Like, yeah, I could write the next 3 chapters of what's going to happen here.
But I think
the mantle's going to sell. It's going to be a record. A PSA 10 mantle is going to magically hit the market at golden or something.
Yeah.
And voila, here we go. We're going to get a $10 to $20 million SGC sale, and then we're going to get a $30 million PSA sale. If we don't, I'll come back on here and say I was wrong.
Eat some crow.
But I'm telling you. Now, these star cards, right? What Grail card is in a PSA slab?
I don't know.
Me either.
Wait, no.
What Grail cards in a BGS slab?
A Gretzky's in a PSA slab, isn't it?
Sure. All right, you get a Gretzky, right? You get a Gretzky PSA 10, I think, right? OPG or something. Okay, like that's a Grail card. What else?
I think that's it. I can't think of anything else.
What about BGS?
Oh yeah, that's BGS. But again, I mean, we're talking about Beckett, right? I mean, back in the day when we were younger kids, Beckett was the Bible, right? I mean,
yeah, but that Luka that sold wasn't back in the day. That was a year or 2 ago.
That's true.
That was what, $4 or $5 million?
Yeah, 5.5.
Right. So, all right. Now, what about what Grails are in an SGC slab?
I mean, the mantle, the
Wagner, highest selling sports card, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the other piece of this too. Is I think part of the play here is they need a little buzz. They need a little. They have a lot of buzz with grading and resale right? Grading and resale. How many times can you say resale value though?
Bro,
right?
You're preaching to the choir right here, man. I'm with you. Yeah.
So, okay, like I fully get it that the PSA shit sells for more. I get that.
Yeah.
But I've graded in my life 2 cards with PSA. I'm sorry, not 2 cards. 22 cards. I buy them, but I don't grade with them because I'm not paying the crazy prices, nor am I waiting.
Yeah.
I grade with SGC and I grade with CSG, and I do just fine.
I need to get with I need to put in an order to CSG.
CSG, man, those slabs. Like if you're a collector and you're into like the aesthetics and your stuff being uniform, man, those slabs, there's nothing better.
The acrylic is the nicest.
And since they redid, we talked about this, I think the last time I was on, but since they changed that label now, they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
They knocked it out of the park. But anyway, that's for another day.
Right.
So anyway, like the star stuff, man, just people need to be careful. Keep in mind they're only doing that 84, 85 set, not anything after or before. And if you need to go to starbasketballcards.com.
Yeah.
You should probably link that in this video.
Yeah, I am. I will. I'll link that. I'll link that down below.
Because you got to do your homework on these cards, or you're going to get burned. Like I said, I bought one a year ago. The number 288 out of the 84 set, the blue bordered one, the regular size card, just because I was like, you know what, for $30, what do I care? I want to see if it's real. It came in and I was like, it felt way too smooth to be a card. But I sent it off to my buddy who deals with them, and he's like, dude, give me a break. This is fake. I'm like, hey, whatever, $30,
Yeah, I took a shot.
So you just got to be careful with what you're buying. In my advice, if anybody's looking at these things, buy it graded, keep it in the slab. If you're really concerned about flipping it, keep it in the slab, send it to PSA for a min grade crossover of at least what it is in the BGS slab. And if it doesn't hit it, you know what? Maybe you go down one grade, because that seems to be the thing. Like, a BGS 6 and a PSA 5, like, bring the same price.
Yeah.
So I totally understand that. I just get nervous with, I have my card graded. It's in a Beckett slab. There's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
And people respect Beckett.
Yeah.
I know people respect PSA and love PSA, but what happens if they crack that card out because they're like, oh yeah, this meets our min grade, and then they start feeling it and shit, and they're like, wait a second, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for my own my collection, those things are staying the way they are.
Yeah. So playing the crossover game is probably not something you want to do with a star card, right? I mean,
well, here's the thing. That's what's happening, because that's why those prices are bumping. Look, if you go through all those cards since July, they're all bumping for one reason: crossover.
Right. Now I'm looking at Elijah one. I got to get my hands on
cards are going down, but now magically the 84 star set is going up. Well, because it can be crossed over now.
Yeah.
So people just need to be careful. That's all.
Do your research, folks.
Yep.
As always. I mean, anytime you're spending money, listen. I buy a lot of dumb stuff. A lot of dumb stuff. But I mean, you start getting into the three figures, and I'm scratching my head, buddy. I'm like, wait a second, Dad, before I give you this $100,
Yep.
I'm not quite. I haven't quite made it there in my life to where I can blindly spend $100. $20,
Right. Yeah, $20. I'm like, you know what? I get pissed, but something shows up in the mail, it's ruined because whatever, and I'm like, man.
Yeah. Right.
But it doesn't end my life. You start getting, for me, if I spend $1,000 on a card and something happens to it, what the hell? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like that hurts.
That hurts me, because the stuff I've pretty much sold through all of my stuff that I wanted to like grade and flip. So now everything I have is pretty much stuff that's staying with me for the long term. And then I'm going to figure out what I want to do with it. Do I want to crack stuff and have it uniform or like, I've never really cared about that, but like I'm starting to get, I don't know,
starting to get picky.
Yeah, I'm a little bit, man. Like I'm really getting turned off by the whole, like I really am turned off by the whole PSA thing, because like, and I'm at the point now where I won't even buy something in a PSA slab. I'll search for it raw. I'll search for it SGC, BGS, CSG.
Yeah. Especially for me, I'm in the same boat. Especially for me, I look at the serial number. If the serial number starts with a 4 or a 5, a high 4 or a 5, forget about it. I don't even. I mean, I've had some good luck with some crossovers in the past, right? Where I've bought a PSA 8 that they provided good pictures. They did some good scans. I was able to zoom in really good. And I was like, man, there ain't no way in hell this is an 8, You know, this is a 9.95 all day long. You know, and it's like 80% of the price of a 9.5 or a 10, and you're like, screw it. Like, hey, I'm like you said, you know, $50. Hell yeah, I'll throw $50 at a PSA Luka Doncic rookie that normally sells for, you know, $150, $200.
Here's an example. I just bought this. I bought this PWC weekly auction 2 weeks ago or whatever.
Yeah.
For what I paid for this versus what the last Raw one sold for.
Right.
Steal.
Yeah, now, exactly.
The nice thing about PWCC, their images are always like Hubble telescope images. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like you can see like through the card, you can see like what tree that cardboard came from, like everything.
Yeah.
So it really allows you to make a smart decision of like, you know what, this card is way either undergraded or overgraded. I'm not paying the premium, or that's a deal. I'm buying that and I'm cracking it and sending it somewhere else.
Yeah, now, this is the same thing with this one.
For me, yeah.
I think I may have paid like $20-$30 for this card, and it's a 9. It's a PSA 9.
For me, in this card numbered out of 199 on my boy Pasternak, I'm sending that off to either SGC or CSG. It's going to stay in my collection, but it's at least an 8.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, I'm a huge fan of spending money to immediately make money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to necessarily sell it as soon as I get it, but I need to know in my head
you have some equity there
in that card.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean?
You know immediately you got equity there.
Yeah. And that's an automatic buy for me. Automatic every time.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff, like right now, like we've talked on messages and whatnot, like some of this 90s stuff I'm trying to buy of KG, Hakeem, Shaq, whatever, man, the prices are so high. It's the guys aren't budging. And it's like, listen, buddy, it's not 2021 anymore. Like we're moving into 2023 soon, and you got to come to reality. You lost money, so either you got to adjust your price or take it down. I mean, no one's paying it,
right?
So I've been watching cards for months.
Yeah. You see the same cards for like 6 to 8 months that have been up there. Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, come on, buddy. Look, you're gonna take a bath. You might as well give it to somebody who really likes the card. You know.
Speaking of that, I got you a present. I guess we can show it.
You know, right now when I snapped my fingers and I pointed at you, I was looking for the one thing that I have for you that I got the other day, and I don't know what the hell I did with it.
I bought both of these because I thought of my old friend Retro, and I said, you know what? I don't need both. I'm gonna be a good human.
My man.
I gotta find the goddamn thing.
What did I do with it, man?
Maybe I'm not giving you a gift. Wait. So, buddy of mine on Facebook having himself a little fire sale the other day.
Oh, nice. I love fire sales.
Yep, me too. I generally buy in the 90s basketball group. So he usually sells
a 90s basketball group?
Oh, yeah, I'll invite you to it. I thought you were in that.
Yeah.
Dude,
please
be careful, though, because once you get in, it's like the Matrix. You're never getting out. So my buddy, he usually sells really nice condition cards at a good price. So I'm scrolling through, and I see.
Oh, get out of here! A Ball Hawks?
Not one.
What?
But 2.
Are those refractors? Oh, get out of here, JD. Oh, wow.
So I will be mailing off one of these to you with your nice card Hedge display stand.
Well, I can't find it right now. I'll send you some pictures of it later. But I found when I initially went on my Panini sucks because they're doing this whole patches not associated crap.
Oh yeah, dude, yeah.
I went on this big hunt for 90s patch cards. Because you know all of those are game used.
Yeah,
like getting a patch used to be special, right? Like those are all game used, and so game worn, game used None of this freaking event used crap. None of that stuff. Like now we're to the point to where it's not even associated with a player. I don't know if you saw my video the other day.
Oh, I did.
Freaking Jonathan Kuminga, National Treasure RPA with a freaking James Wiseman patch on there. I don't know what the hell that's all about. Anyway, don't get me started on that. But I went online and I just started looking for. I basically looked. I typed in basketball upper deck patch. That's all I typed in. Yep. And well, basketball, right? I mean, obviously the basketball in there. And dude, I bought so much stuff, and I bought a lot. There was a lot that came with a handful of. I bought an Elijah Drexler double patch. I bought like just a bunch of stuff. I bought a Sean Kim patch, a Gary Payton patch. I mean, I bought all kinds of stuff. And one of the ones had a Kevin Garnett. Upper deck Kevin Garnett, pretty good size patch, man. I'd say about like maybe silver dollar size, a pretty good one.
Oh, nice.
Two color patch is nice. It was really nice. I stashed it away and I was like, I need to send this. I need to send this over to JD. So when I get that, I'll get the address off the
Look
thing.
At that. See that? We're thinking of each other. We're gonna make a nice little trade. Look. This is what I was telling you about the other night after watching your video. I'm gonna share this again because there's one company out there in the world still doing what should be done, right? Futera Soccer.
Hold on.
Right? Here's an example. This is just some card I just found on eBay, right?
Futera?
Couple of Futera. Right? So look at this. You got a little piece here.
Whoa, that's a little piece here.
Right? Now ready for this? This is going to blow your goddamn mind. This card features a piece of Marcelo Salas Lazio's game jersey from a friendly match in the 98-99 season, and a piece of Arturo Vidal's Bayern Munich game-worn jersey from the Bundesliga match versus Hannover 96 at the HDI Arena on December 19th. They
tell you where it's from?
2015. Bro, mind-blowing.
That's a patch right there. That's a patch. That's how you do patches.
They got all Ronaldo. They got Neymar, Messi. It's sick, dude. They got that stuff is now to me. That's how you do game worn stuff.
You know who does game worn really well too, and it's something that my buddy Peter out in Australia told me about the other day. Leaf does really good. Yeah. Leaf does patches right, and they still do patches right to this day.
Hang on.
God,
this is the coolest card I own.
Freaking card.
Yep, look at that.
You must have you got your stuff organized. I need to organize all my shit.
Yeah, I can't handle it if it's not organized. Here's Leaf, baby.
This one
Soul of the game. KG.
Get out of here. Is that a sneaker?
Yeah, it's a sneaker.
Dude, get out of here.
With a little bit of writing on the bottom of it. It's probably a swear, but you know.
Dude.
Leaf,
that's Leaf?
Leaf rules. Yeah, Leaf.
Yeah.
That one's 2 of 4.
Wow.
They got cool shit, man.
I gotta find this patch. Now I'm pissed because I can't find it. Nope, I don't have it in there either. Man, I got a video coming out, dude, this week that I think I don't know. It's probably gonna piss some people off, but
that's all right.
I don't.
Supposed to. Some of it's supposed to piss people off.
Well, I think it just really bothers the hell out of me that like I kind of almost feel like we just kind of lay down and take some of this stuff and
yeah,
we don't have to, man. Like they say that the best way to vote. Oh, speaking of Star, that I might have screwed up on that, but this is a 1990 Star promo card. It says one of only 300 printed.
Yeah, that's probably a reprint.
Probably.
Whatever.
Probably. I gotta find this KD card. Anyway, once I find it, I'll shoot you the. Here's a Sam Cassell. You look at this. They even congratulated you back in this. Congratulations.
Yep.
You've just received an authentic NBA game-worn jersey of Sam Cassell from 2003-2004.
Yep.
Was worn during a 2000. So The material featured on this on the front of this card was worn during the 2002-03 NBA regular season. It was acquired directly from NBA properties.
Yeah, they have like there's a whole set, man, of like LeBron, his finals patches, like sick cards. Now I'm not a LeBron guy, but
neither am I. But
you can hit, they're big money, but you get you know what I mean? Like the different finals pat, like that's legit. You know what I mean? Now, like the other day I was looking at buying this soccer card, and I'm like, it was out of Immaculate, and it was like, the guy sent an offer for like $80, I think it was, and it wasn't a bad deal. But then I'm reading the back of it, and this is Immaculate, right? And it says the piece of memorabilia is not associated with any player, event.
Yeah.
I'm like, so where'd you get it from? My dog?
Yeah.
Like, so I'm point. Like, I sent a cheaper offer back, and I said to the seller, I said, listen, man, because of the stuff on the back of the card, with this not even being associated to potentially even a player, it could be some kid's rec jersey they robbed. Like,
exactly.
I can't pay you $80. I'll give you 50, whatever, because it's a cool card. But it's not, if it's not tied to the guy, you've killed that whole section of cards,
dude. So that was my
they don't even realize it.
Yeah, that was my exact point. My exact point from my video. I just dropped the video today. So this is my Tuesday, August 2nd. I just dropped the video.
Yeah.
They screwed, like Panini screwed me, man, because my Rockets right now are in a rebuilding phase.
Yeah.
And not only are we in a rebuilding phase, which a lot of teams do from time to time, but we're in a rebuilding phase with very high draft picks. So we've picked in the top 5 in the last 2 seasons. Yep. The last 2 seasons we've been picking top 5. And we got some amazing players. We got freaking Jabari Smith, who right up until the beginning of the draft was projected to go number 1 to Orlando. And he didn't, right? And so, like, potentially the next 2 or 3 years, the last 2 or 3 years for me as a Houston Rockets fan should have been freaking amazing, bro. In terms of picking up RPAs, rookie cards. Like, I should have had a blast with this shit. And I was looking forward to picking up Jashawn Tate RPAs out of National Treasure. I mean, I was gonna freaking hustle to get the cake to do it, but still I was gonna make my pushes to really spend some money this year, these last 2 years, on product, maybe even some singles and stuff like that. I can't do it. I can't get this. Like, one of my favorite players right now that I think is going to be massive is Alperen Şengün.
Yeah.
This kid, I think, has got everything that he needs to be the next Jokic. I mean, this kid is really good.
He's good.
And here I am as a true tried and true Rockets fan, wanting to get RPAs of my favorite player where the patch is completely useless. It's completely meaningless.
Right.
I got screwed.
And it's like, and knowing that, right? Like, we know that, everybody knows that. Why are they still charging massive dollars?
$4,500 for a box of NT.
Right? Like, at what point do people say, you know what? I'm out. I'm not buying it until you fix your. Now, hopefully what happens is, well, I mean, I'm Fanatics, right?
Yeah.
If they buy Panini, I'm pretty sure they can start printing basketball cards like sooner rather than later. Right?
You know what? And then Fanatics already has that license with the NBA.
Right.
For the jerseys and all the other stuff. So
And I'm thinking, my hope is that Fanatics, because of all of their agreements with players and this and that, those game worn and those game used things that are going to, hopefully we're just in a bad period for that and that stuff, because, I love memorabilia. Right. And having those memorabilia cards is like just kind of a cool way to stay connected to the game.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
And I can't afford to go out and buy a finals Jordan jersey or a finals KG autograph jersey or something like that. Right. A, I don't have the space to display it. And B, I don't have the cash. So I can get a little card though with a little bit of game worn something on it from a date of a game or something like that, man. I'm in. I'll pay a premium on it.
Yeah.
But if you're telling me that the patch is either manufactured or you don't even know where it's from, you found it in like a junkyard, whatever, I'm not paying you a premium dollar for anything. I'll give you $10.
And the thing about it too is that like it's really got me thinking about like what was going on with all the other patches? Like what do those mean?
Right.
Were they ever like game worn, game you like? I don't know, man. It just throws the whole freaking thing into question. Like, but the
stuff with
entirety
upper deck and tops, upper deck would definitely, game worn stuff back in the day.
Yeah, for sure.
But even they're getting a little, chintzy chintz, right? But like, it's just the whole hobby. They're still trying to catch up, right? Like I obviously I collect hockey cards. The SP Authentic that just came out. I've been watching some Canadian videos on that. The guys breaking that, and they're like,
"You want some of that
product?" What's that?
Do you want some of that? Because down here in Texas, that shit is plentiful.
Well, it's plentiful here too. That's the problem, right? So they printed the living crap out of it. They basically killed that product, and it's like
because SP used to be a premium product.
Yeah, like a middle of the road kind of like
It was a hobby. It was a hobby product.
Yep. And then once you go retail with something, man, forget it. You know what I mean? Because they put like a brick on the print button and take it off like 3 weeks later.
Well, they did this. Panini did the same thing with Select last year.
Yeah, that was bad, man. Because Select was awesome. That was of all the modern cards out there.
Yeah,
the ultra modern cards. That set was like hands down my favorite. And once they went retail with it and killed it, I was like, I'm done. I'm out of here. I can't do this anymore. Like 50 something parallels. They got football card sets with like 400 dudes in it now. Like,
dude, 440 card base set.
Like I love football. I love football. I love my New York Football Giants, but I don't want an offensive lineman like green nebula sparkle dazzle refractor thing, right? I want Saquon Barkley. I want Christ, give me a T Barber 101 or something. You know what I mean? But like, I don't. Why 440 players? I can't name 440 guys. So I mean, you like, what are they doing? Throwing in the offensive coordinators, as a subset?
No, they're throwing in coaches.
Yeah, that's what I'm, like. I don't want coaches. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want that. So that's why it's just whatever. So anyway, man,
I'm starting to get really concerned because I can't find this card.
It'll pop up. It's probably in your mail pile. You'll find it.
Oh, I'm sure I will. Yeah, I'll find it somewhere. But we'll get.
All right, my man. Well, listen, we've been on for an hour.
Yep, this is exactly where I wanted to cut it off, which is great. So I appreciate you jumping on, man. Always. Yeah, man. It's you're always a phone call away, man, and I appreciate that. Always good chatting with you
too, man. I love coming on. It's good stuff. So anytime.
Sounds good, brother. Well, I appreciate you guys for watching. Thanks, everybody. We'll see y'all later tonight on well, actually, I think we'll probably drop this maybe Wednesday or Thursday. So
cool.
Appreciate you guys watching. Love y'all. Peace. JD, take care, brother.
Later, bud.
All right.